Hey gang, so sitting out here on the deck enjoying a cigar, thought I'd talk to you about something, and that is about squeezing the juice out of life, right, or squeezing your lemon, as my wife and I have been saying here. See, how this topic came up is I was driving in my truck a couple of days ago, and listening to classic rock as I normally do. And on the radio was the mighty Led Zeppelin, right? And it was the Lemon Song. So of course there's the line in that song about, squeeze my lemon till the juice runs down my leg. Right? And of course that's a sexual innuendo. But when I came home, I was singing those lyrics to my wife, and she kind of just looks at me and like, where the hell did that come from? And of course I'm like, really? You don't know the Led Zeppelin song, the Lemon Song? And of course she didn't, so I had to explain it all to her. Well, later that day I was watching some video on YouTube, and it was a guy doing a TED Talk on the 3 phases of retirement. And he was talking about how we go through the vacation phase where we, are enjoying not having to go to work and so forth, and we view our retirement as a vacation. And then after that, we go into a boredom or disillusionment stage where we don't know what to do with ourselves. So then we start looking for things to do, and that moves us into the 3rd phase, which is, according to him anyway, a charitable phase where you start giving back, and you try to find charities to work with or young people to work with, something to give your life meaning. And then finally the 4th phase was when you finally come to grips with your mortality, I guess, and you want to squeeze every drop of juice out of life, right? And so I said to my wife, I says, well, that's the phase that I'm in. I'm in the lemon squeezing phase. Of course we laughed and so forth about it. So then later on, I think it was probably the next day, we were watching a documentary on Robert Johnson. And Robert Johnson, again, for those uninitiated, is probably the father of modern blues music, and also the first inductee into the 2700 Club in 1938, I believe, is when he died, at 27 years old. But he is the one who wrote that line, squeeze my lemon till the juice runs down my leg. And Led Zeppelin then appropriated that line, and other artists like Eric Clapton have done the same thing with Robert Johnson. And they're mostly paying tribute to Robert Johnson with those songs that they took his lines from. But anyway, that line came up again in this documentary, and of course Kathy looks at me like, oh my God, so we've been 2 days now when we've had like 3 or 4 references to this Lemon Song. And I'm like, yeah, well, I don't know. Maybe the universe is trying to tell us something here. That it's time to start squeezing the juice out of life. Get every last drop out of that lemon. So, I don't know. I think that maybe I'm already in that phase, at least with my motorcycle trips and my adventures that I plan and so forth. I'm definitely trying to do that. Now, maybe this is still the vacation phase for me because I've only been retired for 3 years now. Maybe I will go through a boredom and a not knowing what to do with myself phase, but so far, I'm not. I find things to do every day. Of course, I do have my motorcycle trips. And then I have all of my YouTube stuff that I do. And along with giving me something to do, giving me a creative outlet, because I really need that. I've needed that all of my life. It also is my way of giving back. So maybe it's actually part of that charitable phase for me, is that it's my way of hopefully inspiring other people to get out and live their dreams, to do those things that you want to do before it's too late. Because I'll tell you, I have many friends who say they want to do stuff and just never get around to it. Right, so it's time to do that, right? Because at 60 plus years old, 64 for me now, time is getting to be short. I may live for another 20, 25 years if I'm lucky, but maybe I have another 10 or 15 where I can actually do the kind of things that I want to do. At least I hope that is the case, right? You never know, right? You just never know. So it's time to do them now. It's time to get out and squeeze the juice out of that lemon. Right? So that's what I encourage everybody to do. And obviously, you have to do that in a way that is respectful to other people. You have to do that in a way that is responsible to your spouse and so forth. Like, I can't spend all of our money, in 2 or 3 years and not have enough for Kathy to live on. Or me either. But I have to find a way to be able to do those things I want to do, to take these trips and so forth. Because if I don't, right, then I'm going to end up when I'm 75, or on my deathbed, wishing that I had done more. And I don't want to do that, right? I don't really have regrets in my life. Of course, everybody has things that they would do differently. If they had to do them over again, they have things that you did that, for me, things I did that hurt people. There are times when I was hurt. Everybody goes through these things, but to me, that's all just part of living, right? And any changes that I would make would mean that I wouldn't be where I am now, right? It's like, if I wouldn't have chosen to get married too young initially, then I wouldn't have ended up meeting my wife that I have now, and we have an amazing relationship, right? So anything I would change wouldn't put me there, right? So that's what there's really nothing that I would do differently again. It is what it is. I learn from those things so that I won't repeat any mistakes like that. But again, I can't have any regrets. Life is life, right? And you have to live it. So one of my favorite modern day philosophers has always been Wayne Dyer. And one of the things that he said in one of his many books, right, was that you don't want to go through life with your music unplayed, meaning that everybody has music within us, right? Music, writing, whatever it is. Music is just a metaphor for those things that you want to do in life. So you don't want to go through life with any of that music still locked inside you. All right, you want to make sure that you get it all out, right? That you do all of those things that you really wanted to do. Accomplish those things that you wanted to accomplish, right? Or at least try. Give it a good shot. If you wanted to play baseball and you don't have the talent, well, you're not going to probably do that, at least at the pro level. But you can at least go out there and enjoy it for what you can. But for me, not leaving my music unplayed means expressing myself on YouTube. It means getting on my motorcycle and traveling and going seeing these places. It means maybe taking a little bit of a chance when I do this, if I go travel by myself, right? That's one thing that my wife is always, of course, worried about, that if I go out there by myself and I get hurt, what's going to happen? But I always say, what the hell? The worst thing that happened, I die. I'm going to do that anyway. Right? I don't want to, of course. I'll do what I can not to, right? But I'm going to at some point anyway. So that's not something that I'm going to let stop me from getting out there and doing the things that I want to do. In fact, I think that pondering our mortality is a beneficial thing, right? Memento mori, right? Know that you must die, right? And this goes back to, I guess, some of the Stoic philosophers who used to use this line, and it also is repeated in Buddhism and so forth. But understanding that your life is finite, right? You don't have all of the time in the world, so you do need to go out and make the most of it, right? Do those things, as we've been talking about, that you really want to do. And so this is something that I return to over and over and over again. So as I've talked about before, this idea of thinking about your death, pondering that you only have limited time, it really hit me about the time I turned 50, just before that. And I started realizing that, I probably only got another 20, 25 years that I can do these things that I want to do. I need to get started because I've got a lot of them that I want. All right, so I really started making an effort to plan these big trips and all these kinds of things that I wanted to do, because I knew that, again, my time was going to be limited. So I guess I would ask you, what are those things? What is that music that you have within you that you haven't played yet? I would ask you, what are your dreams, right? And what are you going to do to move forward to accomplish those dreams? Are you doing it? And they don't have to be the same dreams that I have. You cannot want to ride on a motorcycle. That's completely okay. You may not want to take a big, long motorcycle trip. Maybe your dreams are just spending more time with your grandchildren, right? Or taking them somewhere, right? Or maybe your dreams are to, spend more time with charitable causes and helping other people, young people, and so forth. So whatever those dreams are, right, what are you doing to achieve them, right? Or are you just sitting around waiting, not knowing what to do with yourself, right? Are you out there squeezing the juice out of life, right? Or are you just watching other people do it, right? Spending your time watching other people's videos, right, on YouTube, right? Watching some girl travel around the world and do fantastic things, right? Or are you out there doing some of those things yourself? See, because that's what I hope these videos that I make do. I hope they get you off the couch, right? And I hope they get you to go out and do what you want to do, not just watch me do what I want to do. All right, guys, so that's it. Live safe, ride safe, squeeze the juice out of that lemon.